Hello there, this is Lisa Michaels. You've gotten Live with Lisa Michaels, accountability show, and I would like to have you look at my blog. It's conservativelisa.blogspot.com. I've got about 300 posts going back to 2009, I believe. I was doing live talk shows in Oregon on cable TV outside of Portland and Beaverton for many years, and now I'm just researching on my own, and periodically I make these YouTube videos which are heavily shadow banned, so I'd appreciate it if you'd like to like or share. It would be very nice. Anyway, I thought this was important enough to make another video about this blog post that I did. It said, did we dodge a big baby boomer bomb attack in Kansas? Since I live in Kansas, that was a great concern to me. So I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to let you listen to this warning. This is a warning by a guy named Field McConnell, who I initially thought just was making the most outlandish claims, talking trash on his sister, who apparently is one of behind the scenes, one of the orchestrators of a lot of this bad stuff that's been going on behind the scenes with Hillary Clinton, good friends with Hillary Clinton. Anyway, without further ado, I will give you Field McConnell, and I'll let you watch it on my blog here.
To Operation Red Snapper and Operation Bottom 5%, I just want to publish this national alert and appeal. I am being told by my intelligence sources, and bits and pieces are being confirmed in the news media, that rogue elements in Dick Cheney's Department of Homeland Security, which is a private subcontractor and executive department like DOJ, meaning that they subcontract for our subcontractors, were also working for Hell's Brigade. They conspired with other members of the elite transnational mercenary group, which has infiltrated the national militaries of many nations, including Iran and the U.S., to steal 2 nuclear bombs called baby boomers that are easily transported via railroad car or shipping container from an arsenal in the southeastern United States. The bombs are thought to be intended to stage another, even worse attack than 9/11 on our own soil. The attack would take out the records of so-called legacy trust and land office records for the past 2 centuries, which are stored in Kansas, so the vermin could come in and claim whatever they want about who owes our gold and who owns our land. For my money, call it yet another papal, British, Zionist collusion scheme, an attempt to steal our assets and avoid their own debts by any means possible. Colorado would be a secondary target because that's where the backup records past tense, were stored. Please note, were stored. A team of clerks transported computer data copies of all of our land records and legacy trust data to our safe and humble Patriot archive this morning. Soleimani, the Iranian who was splattered across the asphalt, I call him Soul Man, was involved in transporting and acquiring medical-grade uranium made in Iran into this country, the United States, via our southern border, and from there it would be amassed and used to construct more bombs on site in major cities across America. Iranian and Danish officials discovered the theft of the medical-grade uranium from Iranian facilities and tracked it back to Soleimani. The Iranian government was afraid of him and what he was doing and ratted him and his collaborators out to the United States. Now the hunt is on to locate the missing bombs and the small batch of uranium stolen from the Iranian nuclear facilities by Soleimani and crew. The men doing these awful things are driven by hatred and greed and the shared total disrespect for life and truth. They come from all nations and all disciplines and walks of life, but have only one true allegiance, to pagan religion that is called the religion of the dead, which takes its nemesis from Grimoire of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I'll spell Grimoire. Grimoire. This is the religion of the Nazi SS and also the religion of Aleister Crowley and his Temple of the Golden Dawn, which is, its English form is called Thelema, Thelema, and which is, in its German form, is called the Thule Society, and Thule is spelled Thule. This is very creepy, very polluted, demon-centered magic, magick. The practitioners forget what ends await them. The rumors that Crowley was Barbara Bush's father is substantiated by Crowley's own diary, and together with Prescott Bush's financial support for Adolf Hitler, makes a convincing argument that the Bush family was part of an intergenerational cult of closet Satanists. Do you think this is a coincidence that G.W. was reading a nursery story about a goat to children as 9/11 was going down? The goat is the animal totem of the horned god Baphomet, the demon these people worship. Sidebar, the Naval Academy class of 19 Sybil in Columbia, as in District of Columbia. The ancient pagan plague came to Rome and became a popular religion after the fall of Carthage and was picked up by the Roman legionnaires and the Colosseum gladiators. Remember their salute to Caesar, "We are about to die, salute you." It has continued to be practiced in secret and not so secret, especially in military circles, ever since. It seems that at least some of those who make war for a living go soft in the head and make a cult of dying. So Hell's Brigade has been summoned to wage an ersatz nuclear war on America. By taking out Soleimani, we took out the heads of the Viper, a man who was willing to set up his own country as the fall guy for this plot. As usual, the plotters were aiming for a double score, destroy our trust and land records so we could never claim back what is owed us, and at the same time use this attack as an excuse to attack Iran. Just like the bogus BS against Iraq and Libya in 9/11, it was set up, executed by the same group of mercenaries, being paid by the same British and Israeli banks, using the same subcontractors to do it, and all planned out and supported by the name of no-good politicians and industrialists. Cheney had better hope and pray to God that we find those nukes in medical uranium stockpiles. If we don't, and those things actually get detonated on American soil, this misnamed Department of Homeland Security is likely to be disconstructed down to subatomic level. Sidebar, how many times has Field McConnell talked about Michael Chertoff and J.M. Cohen as it pertains to not only the attack of 9/11, but the false flag attack in Las Vegas in October of a recent year. And I personally, Field McConnell, had communicated with Chertoff and J.M. Cohen, and I hold them in contempt. Back to this message, which did not come from Field McConnell, but I'm well aware of where this message came from. Cheney had better hope and pray to God that we find those nukes in medical uranium stockpiles. If we don't, and those things actually get detonated on American soil, then this named Department of Homeland Security is likely to be deconstructed down to the subatomic level. And as for those people planning on attending any pro-gun rally in Virginia, do not go to that Virginia rally. The governor of a commonwealth has no power to take the guns of rank-and-file Americans. All you have to do to stop him is make sure that you are counted as a rank-and-file American, not any type of U.S. citizen, and U.S. is in parentheses.
Okay, and I'm going to stop right there, and we can go into that a little bit later. But I want to talk about what he just said, that there were baby boomer bombs that they were going to detonate to try to destroy all our records. So I thought, well, I wonder if they really do store records here in Kansas. So, and I wonder if any of this makes any sense. Well, something extremely strange happened before the 18th. I think this happened. Kansas lawmakers. This happened on January 14th. He did that warning on January 18th. And Kansas lawmakers, here's what it is. Let's see. We got all these ads. Okay. Exit out of that. Okay. So, the Department of Homeland Security held an unusual closed-door briefing to Kansas lawmakers on Tuesday that briefly cast a sense of 9/11 era uncertainty over the State House. One lawmaker said that the briefing centered on contacts by individuals trying to gain access to technological and agricultural information. Wouldn't that be our land records? Hello. Military personnel in unmarked white buses arrived shortly after noon to whisk House Democrats and later Republicans to Forbes Field in Topeka, an installation maintained by the Kansas National Guard. Senators will receive their briefing later this month. So I guess it was just lawmakers, let's see, House Democrats and House Republicans. So it didn't bring the senators. You know, every state has a House of Representatives and a state Senate, just like you do in Washington, D.C. So they only took it's interesting, and they only took the Democrats, and then they later came for the Republicans, and then the senators are going to be briefed later this month. It turns out that the session has been in the works since last December, according to a letter from the Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt's office, legislator. So, but this is what's interesting. Still, senior lawmakers couldn't recall an event quite like it. Even during 9/11, we didn't do anything like this. House Democrat leader Tom Sawyer, a Wichita Democrat, who'd been in office 3 decades, said totally not routine. But after returning from Forbes Field, more than 2 hours later, Sawyer painted a more benign picture. It was just a routine kind of security briefing, kind of an update on how they're trying to keep Kansas safe. It was nice to tour the facility, but somewhat anticlimactic, give up and all this other stuff. So look at them. They're loading them on these white buses. House of Representatives, and they're taking them separately from the Republicans. And this is right around the time that we have this threat that Field just talked about of these bombs, to nuclear bombs to bomb Kansas to destroy the records that are held. And then I'm like, do they really store these records in Kansas? Actually, they do. Let's see, where is that? So go back to my thing. I don't have that. Okay, so here's where they store them. They store them right here. It's called underground vaults and storage. And where do they have them? They have them all over. They got them in Louisville, Kentucky. They got them in Oklahoma City, Salina, Topeka, Wichita. But the one I want in Kansas City, one I want is the corporate offices are in Hutchinson, Kansas. And there is a little tour of a salt mine right there. So you've got this salt mine, you've got these underground security vaults, secure storage, and so that down there. And so that's in Hutchinson's. So now we go back to my my page, and here it is. So then I noticed in Hutchinson we had on Sunday the 19th. That's the day after Field did his field report warning about the bomb, and they're trying to track down the bomb that's supposed to blow up in Kansas. They've already moved all the information out of Denver, so they probably aren't going to get that bomb. And so then the day after he does this, check that out. A very unusual 4.6 magnitude earthquake shakes the ground near Hutchinson. Did you feel it? Okay, 4.6 magnitude earthquake shook the ground near South Hutchinson Sunday afternoon, geologists said. The U.S. Geological Report reported the earthquake at 1:08 p.m., about a mile west of southwest of the town of in Reno County. The USGS initially reported the quake as a 4.4 magnitude, but the Kansas Geological Survey later reported it was a 4.6 magnitude earthquake. Geologists asked those who felt the earthquake to report it online, and shows the quake was felt in Wichita, Dodge City, Hays, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Lincoln, and elsewhere. So, looks like they went in there and they got him, and maybe they moved it out of there, and then they we didn't have an atomic bomb go off that I know of, and so maybe they found it and exploded it underground, or maybe they did something to seal it off to keep them from doing whatever it is they're doing, because there apparently is these things called DUMBs, D-U-M-B, like the word dumb, deep underground military bases. Look it up on YouTube. It's a rabbit hole I don't even want to go into right now, but that is what happened. That was right after. So first, let's just recap. First, on the 14th, you have the lawmakers that go and get taken to this for this unusual 9/11 type security briefing. Then, in the next one, you have, and then on Sunday, that's Tuesday, then Saturday, you have Field McConnell warns of this baby boomer bombs, these two baby boomer bombs, and that one's supposed to go off in Kansas. And then, just so happens that there is indeed a place where they store these government documents in Hutchinson, Kansas. And then, the very next day, guess what? We have this strange, it's not like we have earthquakes a lot in Kansas. I live here, I know. Then they have this 4.6 magnitude earthquake right where the Hutchinson vault is that stores the stuff. So, then I go to this website. Now I'm going to go back to what Field was just saying in the video. Let's just go back. What it's like about here.
Subatomic level. And I hold them in contempt. Back to this message, which did not come from Field McConnell, but I'm well aware of where this message came from. Jamie, you better hope and pray to God that we find those nukes and medical uranium stockpiles. If we don't, and those things actually get detonated on American soil, then this named Department of Homeland Security is likely to be deconstructed down to the subatomic level. And as for those people planning on attending any pro-gun rally in Virginia, do not go. Do not go to that Virginia rally. The governor of a commonwealth has no power to take the guns of rank-and-file Americans. All you have to do to stop him is make sure that you are counted as a rank-and-file American, not any type of U.S. citizen, and U.S. is in parentheses or quotes. For assistance doing that, go to www.theamericanstatesassembly.net. And I hope that people can read that. We will put that in the comment section. Declare your political status and join your state assembly, and you can thumb your nose to all the offers to subject you to gun grabbing, false arrest, child snatching, federal income taxes, political correctness, and all.
Okay, I don't know all about all that, whether or not people have tried that and then it hadn't gone that way. But anyway, this is the website that he was talking about. Okay, that's somebody. Okay, here it is. The American States Assembly. And then there's this open letter to the Queen and the Pope. And I'll read it to you. And this is about the gun rally, which did not go badly. I'm sure they wanted it to go badly so that they could justify taking away our guns. But I'm sick and tired of these false flag things. It's just awful. If anything bad happens in Richmond, Virginia, tomorrow, January 20th, 2020, we are holding you and your respective governments entirely 100% commercially and personally responsible for it. So that did not go badly, but anyway, I'm going to read this anyway because I think it's fascinating. Governor Northam is administering a Commonwealth entity and is unnecessarily and recklessly imposing upon law-abiding Americans in violation of their constitutional guarantees. This affront to our substantive law and to us is duly noted, on top of many other offenses that your respective governments have promulgated in breach of trust. It is also duly noted that in respect to the British Commonwealth United States, the Queen acts as the overseer for the Pope, so that in effect, Pope Francis is the principal responsible for any bloodshed or acrimony or public damage in Virginia tomorrow. In the event that Governor Northam does not show appropriate due diligence to ensure that he is not presuming upon Americans who are lawfully guaranteed their absolute right to keep and bear arms, we shall hold both the Queen and the Pope accountable for condoning, through their employees and agents, the promotion of violent insurrection and conflict on our shores. You have both been given due and appropriate notice that illegal and immoral contracting practices have been employed by the British Crown and the Capstone to create fraudulent and unconstitutional citizenship contracts with Americans. These contracts are invalid, null, and void. The conspiracy to evade your responsibilities under the Constitution has been discovered and fully vetted, and both your administrations have been found wanting. You need to correct, not exacerbate this problem. Any harm, any public disturbance, any destruction of people or property will be held against you and charged at a rate of $10 trillion per life lost and $1 billion per house or building damaged. We are posting this commercial fee schedule in advance to make it clear there will be unpleasant consequences for you as well as for the people of this country should you continue this reckless path. James Clinton Belcher, head of the United States of America. Okay, I know that sounds really crazy. I know it does. If you've not been researching this, it sounds really crazy. But look into it. There is several different sources that I found this that at some point in our history they relinquished us as a regular republic that we've been told we are, and made us into and incorporated us. So we're part of a corporation, and we are basically products in the corporation. And when we are born and we get our birth certificate, it's a certificate of death because our names are in all capital letters, and we are chattel to be owned, bought, and sold by whoever it is that runs when we were in bankruptcy, who held us. I don't know if it's central banks. Anyway, it's very convoluted, very confusing, so look it up yourself. But that's pretty fascinating. I'm glad to know I got a good value. $10 trillion per life lost. Oh, that's got to just make the abortion fanatics, go nuts. That there's that much value on human life, which there is. It's incalculable. Let's see. So anyway, so now I want to talk to you about. We'll go back to my. Hello. Here's my website. Okay, back to more. See, all these links, even though they're only they don't light up unless you go over them. Those are my links. So anyway, there's a growing list because of all these things that are happening behind the scenes to get us back to the way we thought we already were, which was the Republic, and we're free of the Crown and the Pope and all this stuff. It's just been going on for hundreds of years, or at least, a little bit, probably around 200 years, not that long after we. No, actually, I think it started somewhere around the Civil War. But again, research it. I don't want to do a big video on that. It's very interesting. I don't know if everybody, but so they're going to change the monetary system too. But on let me see. I'm going to go find that. Let's see. On December, I'm going to do executive order. No, I don't know. I don't know. There's an executive order, December 21st, 2017. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Okay, executive order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. The authority vested in the presidency, blah, 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 blah. I, Donald Trump, of the United States, find that the prevalence and severity of human rights abuses and corruption that have their source in whole or substantially in part outside of the United States, such as those committed or directed by persons listed in the annex to this order, have reached such a scope and gravity that they have threatened the stability of the international political and economic system. Human rights abuses and corruption undermines the value that form an essential foundation for the stable, secure, and functioning societies, having devastating impacts on individuals, weaken democratic institutions, degrade the rule of law, perpetrate violent conflicts, facilitate the activities of dangerous persons, and undermine economic markets. The United States seeks to impose tangible and significant consequences on those who commit serious human rights abuses or engage in corruption, or as well as to protect the financial system of the United States from abuse by these same persons. Therefore, determine that the serious human rights abuses and corruptions around the world constitute an unusual, extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, economy of the United States, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. I hereby determine and order all properties and interests in properties that are in the United States that hereafter come within the United States, or that are hereafter come within the possession or control of any United States person, of the following persons are blocked and may be transferred, paid, exported, withdrawn, or otherwise dealt in. The persons listed in the annex in the order. Any foreign persons determined from the Security and Treasury Consultant with Secretary of State or General, responsible for complicit in or have directly or indirectly engaged in serious human rights abuse. To current, okay, so basically they are freezing the assets, and they have been. This happened on winter solstice because these occultists, these are Satan worshippers we're dealing with. They really big into their little holidays, and winter solstice and winter solstice is a big one for them. It's apparently like a 5-day thing. It's like that movie, The Purge. I mean, these people are so evil. Anyway, so the shortest day of the year is December 21st, winter solstice, and that's when they decided to release it. So let's play their own games. So anyway, they've been confiscating assets, money from all these evil Satan worshippers as they find them. And I think that it's been going into Satan worshipper number 1, putting a little GPS device on them, like a ankle bracelet. That's why all of a sudden in December, around that time, a whole bunch of people in Congress and Hillary Clinton were all wearing walking casts, John McCain. And then John McCain got confused and put the walking cast on the wrong foot to cover up his ankle bracelet. These walking bracelets cover up the ankle bracelet. That way people don't know that they've got an ankle bracelet. But I think they got a smaller sort of GPS, maybe an injected type of thing. So they go to Satan worshiper 1. They let him know he's indicted and he has to quit his job and do all these things. And then he freaks out, so he goes and talks to him, Satan worshiper number 2. Satan worshiper 2, now they've been tracking him, now he's led him to another person. So they go to that person gets panicked, so he goes to another. You see how this works out. So this has taken years now, 2 years at least, to start, to really get to amass enough people to try to get them, because they got to purge this entire nest of Satan worshipers. So, to that end, I want to look at this very fascinating thing. This is an extremely unusual situation. We have a worldwide 11,521 people resigned. Well, 11,143 have resigned. People. I don't know what these resignations were. There's more. But anyway, organizations, and you can track it by different ones, and they keep it up every day. So today, the 24th of January, we had Fergal Keane, a reporter from the BBC. He resigned. Then we have Dan, and I'm not saying all these people that resigned are Satan worshipers, but I think there might be a high percentage of them that are part of this cabal. So then we've got Bear. I guess that's a lot of this bad, evil stuff started in Germany. And actually, the Nazis, and they brought over Operation Paperclip, and they brought over a whole bunch of Nazis after the war. I mean, it's just nasty, dirty stuff. CIO Daniel Hartert resigned. So I guess they have him listed twice. Frank Schmidt, Chief Commercial Officer of Hamburg Strudel, whatever that is. It's also in Germany. Let's see. Okay, we got Chris Roth, President, Eastern Region of Trammell Crow Company. I don't know what that company is. We have Vivantis Credit, CEO, Bob Corwin. Anyway, so you can go down all these things, and they have, then they list them by different categories. Top 5 resignations by people. Netanyahu, Quasi Nakitam, Ninataki, I can't pronounce his name. Brad Anderson, John Schneider, and Jeremy Ross. I don't know who the rest of all these people are. But most of the resignations have been from the United States, 6,337 and 76. Second most is from the UK, and the third would be Canada. I mean, these English, British Republic, former crown city countries are just bad. They're also the ones involved in trying to frame Donald Trump with that fake dossier. Is the Five Eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5. New Zealand's probably 5th. So, if you haven't figured that out, that's the fruit of the poison pen. And this is the really cool stuff. Check this out. Unclassified. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. This whole document right here, check this out. I need to probably put a link on this in my blog as well. But by January, the court assessed the handling and disposition of information acquired pursuant to the above captured dockets components of the FISA. By January 28, 2020, the government shall make written submissions regarding the FBI's handling of information obtained pursuant to the above captioned dockets. The submission shall include a detailed description of the steps taken to restrict access to such information and minimize. So basically, they're calling the FISA out on the carpet because they mishandled the whole thing, and they should never, ever have issued those FISA things, because they knew, this is the kicker, they knew that all this information, that the Steele report, the fake dossier, was fake. They knew before they started the Mueller report. But this shows that they knew about Carter Page not being The government further reports the FBI has agreed to sequester all collection of the FBI acquired pursuant to the court's authorization listed above. Carter Page pending the review of the government has not described. Okay. Thanks to a large part of the Office of Inspector General, the court has received notice material misstatements and omissions in the applications filed by the government in the above captioned dockets. So I've listened to some commentary on this. This is basically calling out the Department of Justice because the FBI, all those crooks that have now been fired, used our intelligence services and used the FISA court in order to get warrants to wiretap everybody around the Trump campaign. And it's not just Carter Page, and they like to say maybe Carter Page had left by the time they did these, which is not true. I don't see. I guess the first one was December of 20. I don't know. Anyway, bottom line is they also did these secret warrants on George Stephanopoulos. They did one on so they could frame General Flynn, Mike Flynn, and then they did it for Flynn. Oh, Manafort. So they're gonna have to get Manafort out of jail because they framed him. They framed him. They put this ledger, black ledger or whatever they're supposed to convict him. So they're gonna have to pull him out of solitary confinement, which is just ridiculous that they put him in solitary confinement in the first place. Then and then this is the one that a lot of people don't know about is they used FISA court to spy on Ted Cruz because they thought Ted Cruz was going to be the nominee. So this is going to bust the whole thing wide open. Also, what I thought was very important was one person said, it looks like this is also laying the groundwork to force all the corrupt people that have been indicted, you just saw 11,000 of them, to have them tried in military tribunals because clearly the Department of Justice is just too corrupt. Might just be too corrupt. Or maybe they can try them in these new courts with these new judges that Trump has appointed. That we know that they're not. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to have anything to do with it. But anyway, people are going down. That's what matters. So go back, and I think I'm almost finished. Let's see. That's that. And, okay. That's not mine. Let's see. Where is my Lisa Michaels? Okay. So this is that one. Let's see. There's that one. That one. Oh. Okay. This is something he just said this today. So this should set your mind at ease. So here's what he said.
Monitored for the benefit of me. And so any details that are correct and true regarding President Trump's whereabouts and anything he may have accomplished before leaving Davos, I'd love to hear about. Cheney's baby boomer, last Saturday, which is now 7 days, I guess 6 days ago, I put out a threat warning based on information that came to me from an extremely credible and well-placed source that there was a risk that a couple of rogue nukes would be used, one in Kansas and one in Colorado. I believe they've been inerted and they're no longer a threat. However, the threat still extends to 2311 Mountain Time today. Mountain Time is based on Colorado, and I think Colorado was the lesser of the two threats because the body of evidence that was in Colorado was removed before I posted the threat warning. As far as the year of the pig ends at Gitmo, yeah, it ends in Gitmo, it ends everywhere. The Chinese year of the pig.
Okay, he goes off on all these tangents. I love, it's you get amazing information from him, but it's really you have to kind of sit through it because he's ADHD like myself, so I totally sympathize. Stream of consciousness. But I think I'm gonna close it down. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Close it down. Make sure that there's nothing else I needed to cover on this. Blog posting. No. Oh, I didn't show you the sealed indictments. Showed you the resignations, but I didn't show you sealed indictments. So I've got to show you sealed indictments. And here it is. Actually, let's see. Resignations. And here it is. Look at this. Look at this. See this number over here? Unsealed indictments percentage. Let's see. Okay. Estimated remaining. These are, I guess, 125,627 estimated remaining sealed indictments. That they've been unsealed is 19,217. So what people are thinking with regard to, if you don't know about QAnon, you need to know about QAnon. Okay, so what people are thinking from the different drops that they've been getting since the very beginning, right before Donald Trump did that executive order freezing everybody's asset who is a Satan worshiper, essentially, and been torturing and killing and doing horrible things with children and other people, that this anonymous poster called Q, see the Q, was dropping different pieces of information. And this is, I believe, going to be going down in history as the biggest intel drop ever in the history of, the country. But it's essentially they are just like using the Socratic method or like Jeopardy. They're asking the question, and then we're supposed to go out and do the research, like I did with Field's warning. I went and did the research. I'm like, oh, Kansas. I wonder if they really do store documents here. Oh, sure enough, they do. Guess what? It's in Hutchinson. Oh, and guess what? They just had an earthquake right after. He said there was going to be something in Kansas right around where they've got the vault where they're storing all this stuff. And before that, before he even did the warning, these lawmakers in Topeka, were hauled off in this really strange way in these buses to be briefed on this top secret thing. So you put all the pieces together, and I think what's going to happen is they're going to expose a lot of this stuff after the impeachment hearing, or maybe during the impeachment hearing. And I think, hopefully a lot of these people are going to be tried in public, like what their trials should be on televised so that people can see what horrible things these people have done and see why they're being executed willy-nilly and, for their treasonous, evil, worse than any horror flick you've ever seen. Of course, they're in charge of, these evil people are in charge of Hollywood, so no wonder. So I'm going to refresh. So you go to this, it's qanon.pub. You can't see it on my screen, but it's qanon.pub. Q, the letter Q, the first part of the word anonymous, ANON.PUB. And so you refresh it. So I'm going to refresh it to see if there's any new. Nope, no new ones. We haven't gotten anything since yesterday. And these are the posts. And so, like, we go back down here. We've got this post. We've got pictures, and then they've got different proofs. The proof is showing that Donald Trump is involved in this. Standard thought is that Q plus, periodically we get a Q plus. I don't know if we've had a Q plus in a long time. Q plus is are coming directly from POTUS. And so anyways, fascinating. And if you want to search something, like, for instance, I wanted to search deep underground military bunker. So it's deep underground military bunker. So I go like that, and there it is. On January 27th, 2018, it says these people are really dumb. And throughout the cube drops, they've been calling them stupid, but this time they used all caps. And I think it's because they really are apparently all sorts of tunnels and even high-speed rail that works on technology that we don't even know about. underground and going from these different places. A lot of them in the Southwest. And so anyway, if you want to look at that, look up that. That's fascinating. And let's see. I think there's nothing else that I wanted to talk about. Got that. Okay, there. So, and okay. Alrighty. There it is. Let's see. Do I not have my other? Okay. So that's it. conservativelisa.blogspot.com. It'd be really nice if you come and watch it. I can tell if people watch it. If you'd like to donate for my research, that'd be sweet of you. But no concerns about that. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Lisa for OR first. Because I ran for Congress, and my motto was Lisa Michaels for Oregon first. When I lived in Oregon, before I made my great escape. And I did that in 2011 and 2012. I don't know if President Trump ever saw my Twitter account, but I used to tweet a lot because I was really worried when he was running in the primary that he was making noises like he was going to tap. I don't know why I'm having problems here. This is just strange. Let's see. All right. Anyway, it's Lisa Michaels for OR first, and it won't let me go to the emails. It won't let me do that. So, I'm just, do I have it on there? It's just locking up. All right. I'm going to quote. Thank you so much. And just remember, if you hear anything scary, or you think of anything scary, or in your research you get a little scared, just put on the full armor of God. Jesus loves you. This is just tryouts for heaven. You've got anywhere from now until the time you die to figure out who owns heaven and who created you and get to know him. Because guess what? He's not going to let you live with him if he doesn't know you. You wouldn't let a stranger live in your house, and neither would God.